Welcome back to Jennifer Broussard Art. I recently purchased this Holbein set of granulating watercolors. I've been really excited about using them, and I'm going to do a palette fill for you today in the way that I usually set up palettes. I have a brand new Hello 33 well palette to put them in. To do this project, you're going to need your paints, you'll need a new palette, and you'll need some toothpicks and a little stack of paper towels. Now before I start, I want to show you how I make a map for every palette that I use. For this one, I took a photo of this with my phone. It went to Google Photos, and then I downloaded it to my laptop. And I sized it in Publisher, Microsoft Publisher, and printed it out. So now I have a template. This template will be included on my Patreon channel for all free members. So you can go there and print this out, the size that will mostly match the size of your palette. I then looked through my scrap heap. I didn't find any scraps that were big enough, so I got these scraps out and I taped them together. And I'm thinking that I could make like a trifold map. That might be really convenient. So I taped it together on the other side, and now I'm going to size it to the size of this, and I'm going to mark it and cut it off. And then this will just go into my scrap heap. Okay. Now what you could do is get out a piece of carbon paper, and you could cut this out and then put your carbon paper, put this on top with your carbon paper in between, just like how you would trace a design onto your watercolor paper when you're going to paint a painting. Or you could do this. You could just mark where the wells are with your pencil. Either way works. Now I'm going to scoot it up, and in between I can see this right here, so I'm just going to go in the middle between those. And that's right on that crack. Okay. I don't think I need all of this. Okay, now I'm going to line up the top lines with the top, and I'm going to scooch it up. And I'm going to mark the middle rows, right there and right there. And then I'm going to scoot it over and mark these there and there. Now you just take your ruler . Actually, I'm going to measure. Let me see. From the top, it's it's between the 3 and the 4 centimeters. And that's between, it's close enough. It's 3.5. And then this is, I'm going to just make it right because it's going to drive me crazy. 3.5. And then this should probably be 3.5. Okay, good, that's 3.5. And now that would be 3.5. That doesn't seem right. No, that's not right. Duh. 3.5 is right there. Okay, 3.5 is there. and then 3.5 is there. So now I can go like this. It's not going to be totally right because I did not exactly match up the tops of the paper when I taped them together, but it's close enough. 3.5, 3.5. And now I can do this. Okay, so we've got 2 sections that are right on a crack. So that's not ideal, but it's totally fine with me. Okay, now this one's really wide and that one's really skinny. Again, just because I'm me, I'm just gonna make a match, just because I don't think I could stand that. Okay, and now what you do, you get out your colors and you have to write the colors onto your map the way that you're going to put them in your palette. Now I was thinking about this, and there are 6 in each set. So you can buy these sets separately as 4 different sets. I just went ahead and bought the whole thing. So there are 6, 6, 6, and 6. So this is not even, this is 11, 11, and 11. So what I'm thinking I might do is do 6, 6, and 6, and then put this set, this like earth color set, all along the bottom. Now I'm going to write the names and the pigment number in each box. So I'm going to write Bork's Parrot Pink, and on the top I'm going to write WG 501. WG 511. Now this is called Trumpet Vine Red. .503 is Cherry Blossom Pink. 504 is Flamingo Orange. And that's actually why I bought this. I saw this in a Holbein post and I thought, I'm going to paint a flamingo with that. And then what does it lead to? No, I'm not influenced by anybody. Flamingo Orange. 505 is Lunar Eclipse Red. Yellow. Okay, I'm going to proceed in that way for the entire rest of the set. Okay, now I have it all written in. I have the number and I have the name of the paint. So I decided to change it a little bit. I did one set here, left a blank space, did a set here and left a blank space. And now that I think about it, that should have been the blank space, but oh well. Blank space, and then one set here. And then I did 6 in the middle here, the final set down here. And now I have room to add any other granulating paints or any other colors I want from my other tubes of paint. As I use the palette, I'll see how it goes. So now I'm going to set this up in front of me, and I'm going to put the paint tubes in their spot. 502 goes there, 503 goes there, 504 goes here. And this is a great way to do it so that you don't lose track of where everything goes and what everything is called. WG 512, yep. Then 521. Now I'm ready to pour. And I wanted to just show you, I have a little dedicated pair of needle nose pliers in my drawer where I keep all my tubes. So if I can't get a lid off, I can just easily grab it, take the lid off, and I'm good to go. I don't ever have to go, where are the needle nose pliers in this house? I have my toothpicks ready, and I have little paper towels ready in case of a mess. So then the fun begins. I'm going to start off with just a little bit in each one. And I'm going to put it back into the box the way that it was. And I want to mention too that I've already cleaned this entire palette with some toothpaste with Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and dried it all off. And I can see the etching that it made. And I did that in the wells too, so that these won't, to prevent these from popping out during movement. It worked in my last one, my Da Vinci palette. So far, so good on that one. So it should work okay here. So when I'm doing a new palette, I like to just put a little of each tube in case I want to change things. I don't want to have to waste paint. This is so fun. I love doing this. Maybe you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just putting them back in the way they were packaged. And I have the toothpicks here just in case, because you know when you're doing half pans, you have to move that toothpick around in the pan. I don't think I'm going to need them for this. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the rest of the process. So now these are all back in their original packaging. I can just put the lid on and put them away. And then I know where to find them when I'm ready to get out some fresh paint. I have been swatching and I didn't realize the camera didn't turn on. Sorry. I was explaining that I like to do a little square with the top of the square being the darkest value, and the bottom of the square being lighter. It's really hard to get it super, to the lightest that there is in that pigment because it's a small little shape. So I just like to dab some water in, and you can see already that these are separating out into some really pretty colors. Okay, let's do 504. This is Flamingo Orange. There's the full value. Rinse. Oops. Watery brush. You can do it this way, or you could fill it in with a light value and add the dark value. Either way. I'm going to get a little more for the top. Lunar Eclipse Red. Oh, that's so pretty. Look at that. I dropped a bunch of water in it, flooded it. That is gorgeous. Okay, Pampas Grass Yellow. That's a lot. This yellow looks like it can get pretty dark. A lot like nickel azo yellow. Okay. Let's go to the next set. This is full moon yellow. Let's get the darkest value at the top. Japanese bush warbler. Dab of water. Okay, mimosa yellow. It looks green to me. Maybe it separates out into some pretty yellows. Okay, Wonder Forest green. That's pretty. Peafowl green. And ocean blue. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Okay, let's come over to Jade Vine Blue. while we're waiting for this to dry, I thought I would take a minute to point out the pamphlet that came with it, and that every tube of watercolor paint has symbols on them. This one has a diagram of what all of the symbols mean or what they are, but on the other side, here's the key. So if anybody, wants to know if something is light fast, if it's opaque, if it's transparent, if it's staining, you can look on the tube that you're using and look for the little symbols. And then either in the pamphlet that you get, if you get a pamphlet, it'll have the key to the code, or you can look online on the website. So these colors are, let me get one out. I doubt you'll be able to see this. I can barely see it. The series is A, B, C, D, E, and F. These are, not sure what series these are. Let's just look at the tube and then see if we can find it on here. So this is made of, this Daybreak Orange is made of pigment PG50, PO73, and PR 254. So it tells me it's got a red pigment, PO. What would O be? PG would be, I guess, a green. Maybe O would be an orange. I'm not sure about that. And then these little symbols. The circle is opaque, semi-transparent, or semi-opaque, or transparent. So an empty circle is transparent. A circle with a line is semi. A circle with half of it colored in is a semi-opaque, and the one that's all the way colored in is opaque. And this tube has a black circle, so this is an opaque color. The square refers to staining, so filled in it's staining, half filled in it's semi-staining, color that has a medium stainability. And then not filled in it's not staining, so you'll be able to lift it pretty well. And then this has 3 little stars. The stars are pertaining to light fast. 3 is permanent. 4 stars is absolutely permanent. 3 is permanent. And then a 1 would be fugitive. Okay, so this is somewhere between totally light fast and it's like one level down from totally light fast. And then the G, there's a tiny little G. That means granulating. Granulation is a phenomenon where the pigment particles used are large, or colors that tend to agglomerate into clot buildup in the recesses of the paper surface and give a rough texture. There's a lot of information on every tube of paint that you buy. So look at what this is doing. Look at that. The red separating out from the rest of the pigment and what it's doing on the paper. I am so excited to use that one. And I think of this one. I love that one right there. I think these are so pretty. This one reminds me a lot of Daniel Smith's Serpentine Green. God, look at that, it's gorgeous. They're all so pretty. And oh my gosh, look at that one. Okay, so the thing I'm going to do is, I'm just going to close this for now, is show you how to keep this nice and waterproof. So this is a little palette that I have. I spray painted the lid white, and then right on the bottom of it is my little map. I didn't put numbers and stuff. All I did was put color names. You put some shipping tape on it. I'm not going to put it on the front right now because I have empty spaces and I don't want to have tape on this and then want to add a color. I'm going to put some of the tape on this side of it. I've cut a piece that's approximately the right width. I'm going to put it on there. So you do the exact same thing on the front. Piece number 2. This one's a little longer. I am going to cut it off. That'll actually hold it in place for the third piece. And the third piece. Now, if you're doing both sides, you could just fold it over. But since I'm not doing that today, I'm just going to trim it off. And then to get this little flap, you put the tape, sticky side up. Actually, I'm going to put it, I can't do it because it's not dry. I was going to flip that over, but I'm just going to do this. Put it halfway down onto your swatch card, and then there. And now you have your flap. And then once this is taped, it'll be totally waterproof, and you can transport this or keep it stored just like that, and you always have your swatch card. So today the whole process summarized goes: clean the palette with something abrasive. I used toothpaste and a magic eraser. I rinsed it out, dried it off, and I was ready to go. And that is so that your paint will not pop out of the wells. It still might, but it increases the chances that it will stay. Then you're going to make your template. You're going to print out the template and get it onto a piece of watercolor paper. You saw how I did mine. Do all the lines, and then you're going to put the tubes of watercolor paint where you want them to go. And then you can label all of your boxes before you do any swatching. Once everything's labeled, you can then squirt in all of your paint, and then you can do your swatching. And then to make it waterproof, cover it with some postal tape, and you are good to go. So thank you so much for watching. I hope it helped you out with any palette that you set up, and have a great day. I will see you in the next video.